Yeah. All right. So this is our weekly prep. As you guys, I was gone on vacation, and in that time, luckily I was able to catch a piece of it. But we are currently crashing, and this is where people's jaw drops and they think it can't go any lower, and it can. So this is going to be a live where we are looking at what is above us and what is below us, right? Because if we look at SPY or we look at ES, right, we've gone and descended into levels, which, yes, I do expect somewhat of a bounce, but we've got this floor right here, similar to the Qs, right? And if we're falling underneath that, that says, and this is the next leg down, right? Definitively. And I'm looking at ES right now because that's what we can see more accurately. Right here, that punch down gives us the leg down to 4,600. Sorry. So in between now and tomorrow, we have to manage or identify where price needs to open up to continue lower. And that is this mark, right? This is definitive. This is not a question. This is it. This is where my mind is at. And I expected this level to get hit. Funny enough, on the Qs, if you guys recall a while back, in order to hedge some of my equity underneath 530, I took out 380 puts, and those are currently out of this wall. Yeah, I did see that guy. Currently, the best band-aid you could ever think of. Not only are they increasing in IV, but obviously the underlying asset. But this raises the question, how do we get there? And 380 was an important price mark for me. And where I said I more than likely would see us falling, but again with the Qs, and you'll find that tomorrow morning, and we're going to look at NQ here. Oh, shit. That we've already hit some of those levels, right? Or again, with the Qs and SPY, you gapped down, right? Underneath that 17,170, and then you are currently bouncing off the bottom. And this, to me, signifies your next leg down underneath that 1635. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of chasers, and this is going to be one of the biggest concerns as we move further down, right? If you're flipping your charts upside down, I know a lot of people were doing this, but sent me charts on this, and it makes the targets extremely clear, right? We have another leg down, basically to 1590 or 15. 8.5, right around that level. That is where we're likely going to see the NQ. We flip that over and we look at the Qs, and obviously we are here. And so underneath 410 on the Qs, 410 on the Qs, that is another leg down. Thank you guys for all the message. I appreciate that. It's good to be back. It really is. But I'm telling you, I'm more. I wish I almost went I was just stimming out, dude, on these gains. You guys crushed it. Held to your targets, let runners run. I know not everybody, of course, got a piece of that, but there will be more pieces. Obviously, those of you who are patient. So anyway, yeah, it is at 401. I have 413, which is the top of that box. It's bounced off of this mark underneath us, so it's going to be this box, and it might give us a momentary pause, which will give us a chance to catch our breath and try to catch something continuing to the downside. Another thing is even on the weekly and the monthly, we've declined and descended underneath some of these major levels, and if you find on the weekly that 413 is fucking huge, right? The 407.50 signifies the next leg down in the 380s. Hey, what's up, Ivy? So, anyway, that's the Qs. I will take a quick look at IWM because this is another one that is moving through a massive weekly punch down. And this could offer another opportunity for you to go short, right? With that bottom of the box representing a new low. So underneath 163.22, right? It doesn't really have our quintessential empty space, but if you're using the top of these boxes, this structure is likely to break down. I have another target on IWM right here at 134.55. Yeah, I know we broke a lot of these levels on futures. So anyway, we're going to look at these ETFs opening up tomorrow, because a lot of this movement has already been done, right? We've already made a lot of these moves. So it is imperative. It is imperative that we recognize where we open up tomorrow. So yes, this will be posted to YouTube. By the way, thank you for everybody who did subscribe. We are almost at 14,000 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. All right, sorry. My dog is scratching at my door. That bear flag played out. Good job following bear flags. All right, so anyway, moving forward, if you guys have any requests, I'm going to go really quickly over BABA, because obviously this is one that I am participating in and am going to continue to participate in, as it does have quite a bit of empty space on a lower time frame. We have successfully closed a weekly candle underneath 117.40 and 117.80, and this represents to me that more than likely when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm gonna have a butt ton of fucking cash. I might even fucking book a goddamn Universal trip for this summer, because fuck it. But that being said, I do expect for BABA to hit 104. If anybody is still holding with me short, this is a huge level on BABA that has a safeguard box, if you will, and a punch down at 99, which would give us yet again another significant leg down. I'm banking on 88. So BABA is one that has made me a lot of money. I don't talk about money on here, but on my account, I basically made almost everything back that I spent at Disney, and I spent over 15 grand at Disney because they're fucking resorts. But anyway, that being said, BABA, Baidu, all of these Chinese stocks are basically giving the same signal, falling and getting close to really significant levels. I looked at Baidu. This one actually looks like it could end up moving straight down to that 73 and into new fucking lows. So anyway, moving on. If you guys have any requests, I'll take a look at those now. And we'll see if we can't build ourselves a goddamn watch list of things that have yet to break or are likely going to. Joe CX, man, I'm doing amazing, man. And so are all the people in my Discord. Absolutely amazing. Mind-blowing, actually. All right, so the first one I just saw was CVS. And the answer is yes, this one has not fallen quite yet into new lows. So let's see where we can take advantage of a pretty sweet opportunity underneath us in this pocket of empty space. Hey, JD, is he in here? If you're in here, JD, or you're watching this later, I thought about it. Go fuck yourself. So anyway, we have a box that we're more than likely going to be punching down underneath, or finishing punching down, which is 64.84, and a candle close or open under 62.80. Oh, and we're looking for a leg down into that empty space. I would be looking at the 4 hour, as it does offer better detail, right? So you can go ahead and mark out these levels like here. Now, there's the question whether or not CVS, because it was unable to break out for an extended period of time above that $67 mark, it barely wicked out. And so the question is, does this fall much further down to levels like 53.44? You're already in CVS puts. Awesome. So if I was in CVS puts, my stop loss, or where this goes back up, is 67.20. Remember, damn, futures trading suspended? No way. Is it really? No way, dude. You guys are about to live through another market crash if that's true, dude. And we wake up, Grab your cheeks, squeeze them. Damn. Anyway, let's take a look at Fast. Fast Anal, which never understood why somebody would name their company that, but you know, it's not my job to name companies. Sorry, it's Fast and Fastenal. So it's too close. Anyway, so this is bearish. This is bearish. We have a downwards channel, right? Now this is fighting against this bad boy, so you're more than likely in a nice range, but it doesn't change the fact that you are pushing off of that sell wall at 698.70. So I do think looking at this thing, you should see a leg down to 71.50. Now the question is, again, we talk about channels being expanding or contracting and expanding. So this offers the question of, are you going to punch down underneath this box and this one? And that, right? So getting underneath 71.27, punching down below 68.50, and moving into that $65 mark is where we punch down, right? What happened? Nothing's frozen? Okay, cool. I don't think they do that for futures. It could be your brokerages freezing up, because during market crashes, which you all need to be prepared for, and if this thing just melts the fuck down, you need to be prepared for this. Your brokerages, especially Robinhoods and Weebles, will drive fuck you. They will pause. So make sure you have orders, ask orders set in advance, or higher, if you can, sometimes even before the bell. So it was a circuit breaker. Interesting. They freeze futures indices at 7% or 7.5. That's right. Yeah. No one react, but Jeffrey Delaware has been reincarnated and is now a trader. Thanks, man. Instead of people, I eat gurus and stocks. All right. So moving on. What else are we looking at? Carvana here. Carvana. All right. Ooh. Okay. 24-hour time frame. So you just successfully punched down through a 177 cost basis, and you're sitting on the top here. But the 4 hour sucks. The 24 hour is a little bit clearer. So it basically says you need to be under this. And it looks like you did. And inside of that structure over here to your left, you have a lot of empty space that led you out of it. So let's look at the weekly really quick. Okay, so that right there, it looks like 152. 152 looks like it's going more than likely going to be where you see, if that candle closes, a stronger leg down. Now it doesn't have your quintessential empty space, so you would be having to play box to box, right? So box here, right? So your next target is 138, and if that punches down, you have another one underneath you, right? And that'd be 112. So it's not my favorite because it doesn't have empty space, but it'll still crash if everything else does. I think just the empty space. I don't know. I don't really care if futures are frozen or not, because there's nothing I can do about it. I don't trade futures. I only trade options. I swung puts, so if we fucking stay down here, awesome. All right, so that's Carvana. Opinion on the market tomorrow. My opinion will continue based on where we open up. Okay, where we bounced off of in futures is where we move further down. It's that simple. And so rather than being confused, because right now there's going to be a lot of emotions, a lot of intense feelings. And so not getting, knowing, being able to draw a line in the sand and say, this is where we keep going down, is just going to allow me to have some peace of mind. Because during a market crash, you can go look at COVID or anything else, nothing falls straight down. There is bounces, sometimes shorts covering. And so those are things that will whack the shit out of you. And so timing is important. Scully Malloy. No, I don't. I don't have any. I've never messed with those, man. Options have been my game. I live off of it. I just went on fucking vacation, and then while I was on vacation, paid for the vacation. Yeah, options. um, why is it holding better than the stock market? Uh, I don't know. If I would say that more than likely that's a you don't have as many institutional investors. You do, but they're not the same kind of whales that you have in the market. So this crypto could be a maybe a slow moving safe haven. I'm not a futures guy. I'm not a crypto guy. I've never yeah. So um I did break down Carvana. This is being recorded though. I would remember again. It's again not. It falls nasty. Yeah, if you look over here to the left, it falls nasty. So don't trip. Like as long as you have a good stop loss set, which right now should be centralized around 160. I imagine we'll gap down underneath that. That would be my focus. So I'm your safe haven. Okay. All right. Anyway, tap your screen if you guys are watching. All right. Tesla. Um, so, the answer to me on this one is relatively clear. We are bearish, definitive statement. We are locked in underneath multiple sell levels, but more importantly, look at where this wicks off of. It wicks off of 284 before pushing down that week and holding a candle close underneath 261. We are bearish, right? And until these levels are recovered, it's not bullish, right? Literally, that's it. I don't have to fucking overdo it. There's no RSI, there's no fucking indicators. It's just that. That's where we go up. That's where sellers are centralized. That's where their pressure is. And if we pop above that, we'll go up. But we're not. And we pushed off of it last week. So my first inclination here is that you're more than likely going to execute a weekly punch down. Now, this thing doesn't have all of the empty space that we normally like to look for. So we would have to look at weird micro boxes and levels like 188, 180, and then look for a breakdown. And because there is still a relevant channel here, I have to include it. And I'm not going to do it that way. We're going to do it from the bottom in an uptrend like so. And so that 188 target seems really solid to me. What's up, Beijing? Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Sitting on cash is important if there's a recession too, market instability behind it. Yeah, I mean, can you walk us through how you play puts during a crash? Like, tell us what kind of options you buy. The same as I do to the upside, guys. The beautiful thing about my system is I just flip my charts upside down. In my mind, I can see this perfectly, but I don't, I flip it upside down to show people. But this is the same thing up as it is down. So if I have a target of 188, then I'm targeting 188. Now, what would, I would need to be able to establish a couple of key points. Like you would need to be under 213 in order to have a shorter expiration contract that, this is 1,000% play up to 178, 188. So. Do you see my comments or just overlook them? Do you have any idea how fast this chat is going? Robin had is around 215. Let's go. I buy the dip, it goes down 20 overnight. But yeah, buying the dip right now. Listen, I will not be buying any. Oh god, dude, it actually hurts me physically when I hear people say DCA or buy the dip. Some dips just keep dipping. Some dips get to room temperature and go in the trash. There are definitive statements that can be made in the market, and I use those statements to buy equity, right? We are bullish here, we are bearish there. So if I wanted to buy Tesla equity, which I wouldn't, but above 186 would be where that would more than likely go up. So how do you flip my chart? Over here in the bottom right-hand corner, that little octagon or whatever, hexagon, and then invert chart or all I. So buy the dip only works if there's a long lifetime hold. Well, it's really funny, Marky Mark, is even those, the amount of stocks that actually hold right? I think I read it was like 80% of the stocks that are listed hold their value, or excuse me, 80% of the stocks out there do not hold their value long term. But if you can get the quality stuff, yeah, of course. All right, moving forward. What do we got next? Drop your request. QYLD. Oh, dude, trust me. QYLD is on super discount. Now, I will tell you this. That was one thing where I have enough equity in this to buy a hat. Well, not maybe not yet, but that hurted. I probably won't be buying until we get to 14. Still gonna pay me every month, which is cool, but luckily I have hedges on the Qs that made up for a lot of that. But anyway, all right. ADA market cap. Wait, is this crypto? Not right now. I'm not doing crypto right now. Stocks only. Nike. Okay. Nike weekly chart. So let's make a definitive statement. Our definitive statement here is that Nike is bearish and holding underneath 60.45. Beautiful. It's also bounced off of 54.60, which would signify a punch down. Ooh, that's good. Nike will be here at $40. I can feel it in my plums. So you need to finish the punch through 55, be underneath 50. So 50 is your next one of your next targets. Break down 48 break, and I believe you'll hit 40. All right. Yeah, I think QYLD will keep going down. So make sure you put the ticker name in there. It helps me out a lot. TMUS. Oh my god. So clearly that on the weekly actually has a not a bad setup. A really good one, actually, if I could say so myself. You have a multitude of different rejections coming off the top of this box. You've lost the bottom of that box. You should be waking up tomorrow morning with a target of around 240. I think there's more than that. When I look at this setup, I see a breakdown and a push to 283.70 and a breakdown underneath 234.22 to go hit the motherfucking box underneath you, right? The fuck kind of name is that? Brother, there is not much I can do to help you here. Now, I don't know and how or why I have this charted, but I can tell you a few definitive things. This is where you're bullish. That's $4.04. Right now, you're encapsulated it, or you just lost the bottom floor of your cage. So I really don't see anything advantageous here at all, unless you're popping up above this or declining underneath this. So you're literally in a box with walls up around you. So use those walls. But this is not one of those stocks that I have much interest in. So maybe a 232 bounce. Where's the volume stocks in this motherfucker, dude? Where's the stocks that got the juice? I don't want no fucking penny stocks here. Come on, man. All right, weekly Google 141. You'll be at 141 more than likely in the morning at some point. 141.35. That I feel very confident. Now, a couple of definitive statements here is you're underneath 150 and 149.75, and that's bearish. So you're more than likely going to go and fill that gap. That gap is bouncing off of a structure. I feel about that. We're going to leave it like this. So I'm going to go ahead and say 141.35 and 138.55 are your two next target. I'm tired of winning. Damn. I know. I kind of wanted to make that Trump, you're going to get so tired of winning my fucking ringtone. You're going to get so tired of winning. Let's see here. NVIDIA. It's time, isn't it? It is. Oh. Give me a minute. I'm a bust. Oh, God. Look at all that. Oh my god. That's busting. All right. So you have a bounce floor, right? And that's at 91.88. But this is actually pretty fucking big. This is pretty big. Now, it's NVIDIA, right? And this is like the powerhouse of the Qs and all that other good shit. But the push off of the box above you last week and the push down to the top of this one does technically lock you underneath, right? Well, it doesn't actually because you close there, but that's 94.17. So that's where you should be gapping down underneath. Now here, right, 91.81, if you break down underneath that, you have an 89 target. But if you can push down aggressively, I would be on the 24-hour, obviously. If you can push down aggressively, right, and maintain your hold underneath 95.65 on the 24-hour, I would be looking at a level of 85 first, the previous box, right? Because we're not reusing that box. We're just looking at the previous price points in it. So 85 break, and you should be on your way down looking at a $77 target. If you're looking at the Robinhood projections of price, remember those are subject to change. So we don't know what we're going to open up at. What's up, Mr. Zink? Have you said thank you? Thank you for what? Bro, is there any bullish coming? Probably not. Not for a while. But flip your fucking charts upside down. And there's so many people who, I mean, if again, we're looking at my Discord, I was gone all last week. Those of you guys on TikTok can't, or YouTube can't see this, but dude, I mean, if you know how to use this strategy, which is on YouTube, you don't, I mean, dude, like this fucking A, bro. How did this dude even, this guy had a 6,000% trade. So playing the downside, you could make a fuck ton of money. I mean, this guy said last runner made 2K. Thanks, Spotter. I was a little jelly that you were at Disney, but now I want you to treat yourself more. GDs. That's 8,400% on Baba here. I mean, this is just a band, bro. All right. Yeah, Nick Bittner. Yeah, it does not account for that. So you'll be up way more. All right, moving on. Now, my strategy is called the Potter Box strategy, and go to Potter Stocks Trading on YouTube, and you will find me there. Market crash. Okay, so again, I'm not looking at projections of price. I haven't charted this in a long time because my shit is green. Oh, hold on, pause. Don't clip that. My boxes. That sounds even worse. Okay, so a couple of things here. Again, definitive statements. You went up, you tapped the first green candle to your left and pushed down. Now, you don't really have any boxes to your left, so you're going to be using previous floors. I see one at 713, and I think that if that falls, that alone, you'll have a 684 target and just aim for that fucking... I would just be aiming for 650. Fuck all the other shit. 650 is probably going to be your next target down, with maybe a speed bump at that 685 like I was talking about. But that's it. Bro, I haven't seen you since the beef with Starboy. Yeah, you know, Starboy actually hit me up so that I would teach him. Talk about a full circle. I hope he learns, though, because, you know, I hope... You know what would be dope? Maybe I should start a guru rehabilitation program where all these gurus have been scamming people. I take them in and I teach them a real strategy. So even if they did scam, they'd still be teaching people how to make money. That's healing right there. That's a healing art. What do I use for my trades? Money. I use a trade station. So, all right. When did he hit you up? He pops in my lives all the time. All right. Wingstop. What a resilient little fucker. Okay, so on the 24-hour, which... Hold on. That's good. Now, you're going to need longer expirations. For sure. But 217. Broken? I want all that. Juicy. I feel bad shorting Wingstop. Or I would feel bad. Because I love the ranch, man. The ranch is so good. Okay, so here's what I see. I see a sharp rejection at the 239 or 240 level, but it's going to take some time. And that's why I'm saying you need a longer expiration, because while everything else declined, Wingstop did not. So if the market was to bounce, this could offer a play up, right? That's not going to happen anytime soon unless you recover that wick, which that wick represents that floor, and that floor gives way to the empty space up to 271. At the same time, if you can keep rejecting, right, this should be an easy play down to 187. So, do I invest in other venues like other things? Yeah, I bought ADT and I hate myself for it. You know what the best thing you can do, Hyper Ratchet and anybody else who has been scammed by American Dream Trading, is go on to WAP and leave an honest 1-star review. That is how you can help other people, which is probably the most beneficial thing that you could do afterwards, because warning other people so that they stay away is, because it's sad, man. It's a sad guy. All right. What really happened with ADT, American Dream Trading? Well, when I first met him, he was brown nosing me, talking about, oh, keep calling out the scammers. And I noticed that he was doing that so they could hide underneath my nose, because he was doing the exact same shit. I think it's really fucked up that anybody sells anything that has already been taught or is already recorded on Google. And he is selling and increasing the price of some of the most basic information that is possibly available. It is absolutely garbage. And I feel that way about 98% of the creators on this app. All of them. Trash. Garbage. They teach things like don't swing trade, when swing trading amounts for 80% of the market movement. Wild. Anyway, Wolf. Let's take a look at Wolf Speed. Ow. So Wolf Speed already made a big fat dumpy, right? And left a lot of empty space behind. And this, my friend, might be... Okay, so I can help you. I can help you. I was about to say there's a good chance I might not be able to. So this is your floor. A weekly candle closing under 235 could actually open up a rather profitable play down to and capturing that juicy empty space. So I'd be looking for a play from 235 all the way down to 130. Do not trade ODTE. Swing trading is the only way you trade. Well, yes. Well, Eric, I mean, sometimes, right? So I have been doing this for a long time, so I can't afford that, but I would agree with you 100%. If you are new, you can buy shorter expiration contracts because you want to keep your risk low. And if you go through the gains page right here, he literally bought these contracts at like 20 cents and sold them for $20 and sold them for $272, amounting to a 8,400% gain. But that, and then again, that's why we buy sometimes shorter expiration contracts with that empty space underneath it. But obviously, when you have that phenomenon happen during the day, it could be rather difficult. So my favorite thing about everything, I mean, everything that the system does for me and everybody else is that you wake up and the job is fucking done. That's freedom, not fucking sitting in front of your computer screen like a moron all day. Anyway, all right, sit me off on a rant. I'm ready to rant, guys. I've been gone. I'm ready to fuck. I'm so juiced the fuck up though. Oh my god. Now that's bussin'. Holy shit. That's bussin', as these kids would say. Where's Jorge at? Oh my god. I want it. I want it bad. Write that down. Write that down. Handy dandy motherfucking notebook. M. How do you spell that? All right. Short it. Short it. Uh-oh. Oh, that was weird. Listen, this is absolutely and unequivocally bussing. All I need is 124.37, and I will aim for 111.55. And then I'll let my runners eat that booty up right up to 105. Yes, sir. Hold on. Revise. 112. Delicious. Now, how do I execute that on the 24 hour? By shooting through this little baby box, which is 124.50, and keeping my eyes peeled at the 118.92. I like that a lot. Where can we learn your Potterbox strategy? You can learn that for fucking free without paying anybody a goddamn dime by going to my YouTube. Look at the paperclip. Amazing. Going to my YouTube. Saw a YouTube video early on my suggested music, and it said lo-fi music for white women committing medical malpractice. As you're going through the recordings, I didn't listen to it, but this is me right here. Feel like somebody's not right there, so they don't check it. Kind of like playlist, educational over here on the far right next to the bear. It's got what you need. All right, moving on. Let's see here. We've got Crocs. Juicy, but not that juicy, actually. Hold on, I take it back. No more juice. Okay, so listen, just give up. No, I was kidding. Weekly green candle up against 114, and maybe Crocs can slide, right? Summer's coming up. I think that's probably, and I actually liked it looking up with market cooperation. Now, I'm not touching it while it's in this box, right? And I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to touch it, period, because it's so close, right? You need to be underneath 90, which is the box that you just bounced off of last week and pulled yourself up. So this is tightly wound inside of a weekly box, and if you want to go long or short, wait till the one side or the other breaks. Confirming this is your only TikTok page. Yes, and thank you for that. This is my only page. I will never DM you asking to copy trade crypto. I don't actually, I have a hard time calling my own grandma. So like, I'm not going to call you or hit you up looking for your investments or copy trading, anything like that. You are going to be scammed. And unfortunately, if that happens to you, maybe you shouldn't. Anyway, I do have a backup. Yeah, I have backups, but I don't use them, and you don't have to follow them. Oh, I got another account ban warning. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll pop in with it. Let's see. Intellectual property policy update. Okay, so this in the comments. See, I just commented. That's my backup, Jim Cramer's face. That's it. All right. He's not lying. This man is hard to reach. Yeah, dude, my editor even fucking it's not you, it's me. It is me. I admit full guilt. But I'm terrible. All right. Now, I'm going to break off because I want to take a look at a chart because I just lost a lot of money and not lost, I wouldn't say. I enjoyed myself immensely on this vacation. And while doing so, I was able to grab a few contracts on Disney. And Disney's collapsing. I'm going to get my money back. So at the moment, Disney is actually flashing a signal, right? And this is actually a monthly setup. I want you guys to take a look at this bad boy. So, I'm a buzz. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. You have multiple bounces off of 85, but $80 lost. And we will be at a whopping delicious price of $67. And I want it. I want it. I want it all. I want my money back. I mean, I made my money back, but I want a short fucking Disney. What a crazy time to buy. Yeah, nobody's buying right now. I am shorting. Absolutely short. Where's my bear mask? I'm a bear right now. How far would I go out? 2 weeks. 2 weeks on the break. All right. Oh, he hit me with the ja. Hell yeah, dude. Do not DCA. If I see that shit again, I'll fucking ban you. Do not DCA. Don't don't contractually oblige. I don't know. Do not, DCA is the dumbest shit you could ever do in this market. Buying blindly because you don't know. Just admit that. You don't know when to buy. But there are strategic and lines in the sand that you can draw using my strategy that will help you buy equity. Like, for example, if Disney is underneath this floor, fuck DCAing, right? If Disney drops down to 67, am I buying? Fuck no, because there's going to be something up above me that represents where that stock goes up, and the market will eat your ass alive if you keep just buying and DCAing into stocks. You need to have a, like, I'll give you an example. I traded ELF and I made a equity wise, I made a bag. Now this was going back into the 80s, right? We were in earnings right here, right? So I'll give you an example of why I do not DCA. No, I understand support and resistance, but news can move those levels easily. No, you're wrong. So I'm going to show you right now. Okay. This is it's just plain English math. Also, if you're following me and you are new and you do not use the 24-hour chart, you are amongst the many who are being fooled, right? You cannot possibly see everything the market has to offer. But that being said, right, there are areas where I can say and make definitive statements. Like when I bought ELF with an average of around 86.93. This shot up and shot over this 90.80, right? So that right there can be my trail stop on a large equity position until we establish something above, right? Like another area of consolidation. So that right there would serve as my point, right, in which I would buy or I would set my stop for the time being. Now, the sell signal in any box, my strategy says that if you punch down through the 50% of any mark, any box, you're going to continue lower. And looking at what ELF has underneath it, has it achieved that multiple times now, right? So we look left and lo and behold, you punch down, I get stopped out, which again, this stock went all the way from my 80s all the way up to 218, not mad. Took a lot of profit, hedged myself. I made money, nothing red. But that being said, I can make a definitive statement as to where ELF goes back up. If I want to buy equity in ELF again, which I do actually, I would love to buy equity here. I want my average to be around 69.81, the 50% mark of the box up above me. So sure, I could buy a little bit when it recovers the floor, but I wouldn't have it for sure until it punches above 69.33. Where then if price moves over 76.89, I know that it will more than likely 95% sure it'll go up to 101, filling up the majority of that empty space. And at that point, I can make a decision based on how or where price closes. If buyers are enthusiastic and the market is moving back up, then if price settles at 101 at the end of the day, I will hold my position aiming for the next box. It's just that easy. So I personally, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, but we're dealing with money here. And we're dealing with a market that doesn't give a fuck if you have cancer or kidney problems or liver failure and you need that money tomorrow, bro. It will take that money and laugh. So it is important that you guys understand what I'm trying to show you is not, this isn't probability, right? And I've proven that now. When I leave and my Discord can independently continue to trade because of definitive price marks we've laid down, yeah, it proves itself. But that being said, that's something I want to really, just DCAing is stupid. It just says, I don't know where to buy. So nobody in here hopefully does that without having a solid understanding. I'll show you guys really quickly PLTR, which also, while we're on the subject, could make for a amazing short to the downside because I can make definitive statements, right? Definitive statements like if you spent 5 weeks trying to break over one mark of 81.16 and you get a candle close underneath it, that's it. If it gets back up above it, how do sellers not lose money? By covering. Covering is buying back the stock that you shorted, which makes the stock go up. So when I find where sellers have their stronghold, in other words, right, where price recovers is where sellers hold the line. So right now, PLTR is bearish, right? Now, it's at cost basis, meaning we don't have a signal on the weekly to go lower, but that doesn't mean that I buy. And if I want to buy, I could possibly do it probably a little bit smarter. Now, you're going to gap down, and you're more than likely going to be at $64, which is going to totally invalidate everything. And then underneath 63.30, oh boy, get ready, because you're going to see headlines. See all that right there? When price rips this, it rips that. So it's just that simple. What do you do about expensive put prices? I don't buy them. So a part of my strategy is being able to say, is this good risk to reward? Can you show me when you'd buy SPY and explain why? Sure, really quick, and we're going to get back to chart request. Okay, so right now, here. That is where we spent 1, 2, 3 weeks. Coming back up for the 4th week, we held right on top of it. And so if SPY is able to recover 525, I would start looking at levels like 540, right? And how we respond to that. Now, I will not buy it now because I am quite certain that we are more than likely about to experience another nasty leg down. Now, there could be a quick covering and retest, which will be nasty. Those are bull traps. But those coverings, right? More than likely, if we reject that 523.84 or break down underneath 594, you will be moving down to 477. So when 477 is lost, it's the floors above me, right? So if you break down, which you are, and you bounce, and then you recover the floor that you originally held, buyers are now starting to speculate, right? They are accepting of that price. And if I know that and the market overall is recovering and we're all feeling good about that, and Trump's stopping whatever had tweets and shit that he's sure, right? But that's not happening. So that's at the moment, it would be 525. But I will say this, equity wise, nothing really looks great. Okay, equity wise, I'm pretty much, and what I'm holding is, I have runners on PLTR. I'm fixing to dump them. I'm fixing to dump them because now, even looking at that chart, I have a definitive statement. We are bearish, and until this is recovered and this signal is fired off, right, there is no more upside until that happens. So, all right. Do we have to see the weekly when we are bearish? So the weekly represents the strongest, right? Having a week close and hold a definitive price just lets me know, or rather, not even lets me know, but just lets me say that above the previous area where sellers held the price is more than likely where we will recover, right? And then I can move down to the 24-hour and see how that translates. How do we get to 523.84? Well, we look over to our left in the most recent price action, and we drop. Look at these 3 candles right here. That's hot. That's sexy. That's financial sex. It's hot, right? Here, the first green candle to my left is 516. So we would have to bounce, hold a candle up against or above 516, and then you would retest 525. Yes, Disney is short. I am shorting Disney. So, all right, time to buy. All right. I have $300. What should I short? Do you have a strategy? Do you think Ivy will step on me? I don't know. All right, so let's look at the Dollar General chart. And it seems like my 94.61 price target on the 24-hour held. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. There is no trade here, right? And the reason that I'm saying that is because where your continuation lies, which was that level there, you stopped. And I wouldn't touch it down until you're under 87.75. But let's look at the weekly, right? The weekly shows that we had one punch, right? And then this is more than likely a 24-hour box. I don't need to decline to move down. So until you're underneath levels like 87 and 84, you don't have that new leg down. I'm new to night hours, which is just basically after our pre-market. I see SPY down 3.5%. So everybody in here, if you're following me and you want to start making money, you should start by taking your chart and making sure you have the 24-hour time frame. I do not use the daily. The daily is trash. It's what all of these losing gurus use. I have convinced a lot of people that that is the way, and they have seen the light, and that shit shows a market that most people don't even know exists. So, did you short Disney at Disney? I did. I grabbed 14 contracts on Peyton's account because I was on or in a line to get on a roller coaster ride. Short Disney, where do I cover? Well, the target here on Disney short underneath the $80 mark is going to be a whopping, and this represents what I would call a crash, but 867.77. I made more money on BABA, and this right here is a BABA put. This is, I had this, he had the 119s, I had the 115s. And as you can see here, he bought them for 20 cents, right? And then he sold them for $275. Imagine giving somebody 20 bucks and they hand you 275 the next day, but then you have a multiple of them. It's really crazy. What is that? So what, 250 bucks? 250 bucks turned into $10,000. That is why if you're new, you don't have to use a lot of money at all. So, all right, moving on. What do we have next? Keep dropping. Hold on. Inbox me. Inbox who? Maria Williams. Inbox me. How about you inbox these nuts? Forex Academy. Maria, if you were so good at trading, you would not be in here. Oh, hell nah, shawty. Oh, hell nah. Gotta work on that hairline right there. Hey. No. No, ma'am. Oh, and you got this guy right here. I know that guy. Nope. Nope. Listen, if you want to be an Instagram model, just go do that. Quit. Quit now. Stop doing this. Stop doing this to everybody. She's single? I don't know, man. Go wife her up and teach her the Potter box, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. Diabolical, dude. I'm no mercy anymore, dude. No mercy, dog. Listen, if anybody in here is an editor, you know that scene in Star Wars where Anakin's about to go fucking tear up them kids? That's maybe not the way to word that, but like he's about to kill them. I want somebody to edit my face, or maybe I could just use Anakin's face because we look alike, and just put a bunch of gurus' faces on the kids. Just somebody please do that. I'll pay you. Pay you. I'll pay you. If it's good, I'll pay you. If it's bad, I'm gonna say something. I'm simply better than you. You're not. You're just, you could never, dude. You could never. Sorry. I appreciate you trying though. All right, even moving on. Oh, yeah, Marzel, you're watching, dude. Yeah, Marzel, can you get that done, dude? I'll charge, you can charge me what do you think? $1.50? It'll be on your desk tomorrow before noon. All right, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yes, you can join my Discord. All right. So can I break down? Oh, I just did Tesla. This is all being recorded, so you can watch it back later. MU. Oh, I should cry. Listen, I said that when MU exploded out of that box on the weekly time frame, it was gonna go ham, and it fucking did. It dropped in 1 week. 20 doll hairs. That's crazy. So now you are in the middle of dropping into your next box, and that should give you a target. of around 56. Now, I do see a minor bounce at 60.50. Keep that on your watch. And that could give you a retest of the top of that. But if you can open up lower, gap down, we should see a flush and bounce, right? So look for 60.75 tomorrow. If that breaks down, easy 55 target. I hope some of you guys caught that, man. That was a huge fucking play. And I chose a really good time to go to fucking Disney World. It's all right. It was worth it. It was worth it. And I needed the break anyway. So, I feel like Jorge is selling my contracts at 200%. Oh no. Jorge hit 1,000 though. He finally did it, dude. I was really proud of him. That's my boy. All right. Well, dumbass trend line is at the bottom, right? But let's look at the weekly. Okay, so it's tough to make definitive statements on this one because it doesn't have any definitive floors. But I do see this, and it does make an effort to hold it, and that's 52.32. On the 24-hour, you lack boxes, right? You lack structure, so we're going to go ahead and maintain that same level. So I can say now that 52.38 is where Roku drops, and 48.23 would be the obvious price point. But when we look to our left, we see that the majority of the price action here is empty, right? So this would be the opportunity that lies in that chart underneath 48. So, bro, we woke up to 2,000% plays last week. Yeah. Potter MU is already trading in the 50s. Listen, guys, call me son. Potter with the new layout looking nice. Thank you, man. Yeah, you missed it. I missed Baba by 1 day. Man, fuck. Yeah, yeah. This is in my opinion freedom. Like straight up waking up, money's there, you trim, you manage your trade, you get the fuck out, you do it again at the end of the day. Freedom. Spencer, yeah, of course. How long will Nike fall? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and this is going to be, you know, if this is real, which I'm thinking it will, if this crash is real, there is a very high probability that your jaws are going to drop because it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense how fast and how hard we fall. So, listen, right now we have a few more levels to break and we're flying down. This gap down could give us the bounce we need to maybe even build a box or go. I mean, again, expansion, contraction. But when you're in a crash, right? And let's go look at SPY, right? So let's look at the crash, COVID crash, right? Let's look at how it legs down, right? Gap down, open up, and not only do you open up, but you open underneath your floor. So you get a bounce. The bounce recovers nothing except for the 50% mark of the gap, and then loses that floor, right? Successfully punching down under this box here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? Now, you struggle momentarily with this, right? So in the middle of in the midst of this crash, you come down, you bounce off of this major floor, you bounce back up, seller's cover, and you build a box, right? That is basically like an auction. You're offering the price up to buyers, and buyers clearly are not accepting, right? They don't want that price. And for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you sit and you recover. Once you grab a floor, it is important that buyers buy the next one, right? After that contraction, you fail, you gap down, and you the next day you gap down again. So it's likely that we'll see something similar in this crash, but we will keep falling. And here's what's going to be tough is you're going to have to trust, right? As long as the strategy, not yourself, but the strategy, 1, 2, 3 rejections off the top, you close red at the floor and you get another nasty gap back down. So this is something important that we're going to be remembering and paying attention to, because we are in a similar situation now. Come on, bro. Right? 1, 2, 3, big fat nasty gap down. And this represents almost a exact replica, right, of what we saw before. So we could see something that looks like that. And that's going to be us pausing and waiting, because the amount of money that you can make on a big, giant fucking dump like this will blow your fucking mind, and you'll be sad you missed it. So, all right, moving on. What do we have next? I already did NVIDIA. AMD, another one that took a nasty spill. This one coming off of a rejection off the top here. 1, 2, 3. Falling underneath its floor. And so again, AMD making a definitive breakdown under 95. Let's go to the let's see. So here's what I'm not seeing. I'm not really seeing anything super definitive. So I'm going to look at my most recent price action, and you are definitively underneath 86, right? That's exactly where you paused. And if we get a gap down, I would venture to guess that your box here, right? That would be 81.23, and that would represent your next target and potential leg down to this next breakdown, which is 75.50. And if that occurs, sheesh. This is being recorded, yes. Sad I missed it, but still learning and have no idea what I'm doing. Listen, if you're new to this, it's okay. All right, because we don't, yeah, 8,000%, 2,000%, like that's the high end for us. But this is not irregular for us to be making thousands of percentages on low price stocks. So this strategy is more important than rushing, right? It doesn't matter what the market's doing, because as long as the market exists, and if it doesn't, you have bigger problems. But as long as the market exists, you'll have an opportunity to make some money. So was $25 in the money on SPY. This shit is fire. Thank you, man. How'd you grow your social media in the beginning? I admittedly, the first time I went viral was because I caught Starboy pumping and dumping options. And so I called him out, and thus began my career on the internet. Oh, well, no, actually, I did go viral on Reddit during the stock, because I have proof. I don't really want to look it up right now, but if you go to my old Simple Stacks trading view, I didn't have a refined version of what I have now, but I called a run from $13 on GameStop up to 60 due to the PS5 release, and I played that, but then it started squeezing. And so when I streamed that on Reddit on RPAN, I had like 14,000 people watching my stream. So that was one of my first. And then I remember shortly after, I got calls from like the New York Times and fucking Netflix and all these other weird, like, yeah, it was wild. If this seems easy right now, it kind of is. Volatility is high as well. No, it's not always like this. It's not. But this will drive both buyers and sellers into this market. So volume is going to likely stay high. If you had 400,000 to invest tomorrow, I do. Where would you put it? SPY or VOO single equities? I would diversify it a lot more, not just into SPY. I'd probably average down on QYLD, because my goal is to buy enough of this. And it is again falling. That's totally fine with me, but it pays some of the highest dividends. There's a lot of there's a put one that that's actually going the opposite of this, and that's one that I'm looking at buying. So I would more than likely go into the covered call and covered put ETFs, because those are the ones that actually pay me no matter what, right, every month, and they're really great. And granted, I am red on equity now, because most of my average is right around the $16 to $17 mark. But QYLD has been a outperformer. And again, my goal is to basically be able to live off of that shit. Like all of my bills, all of my underlying, that's paid for. So that's these and a handful of individual equities. Um, did I do Rocket Labs? No, I didn't. All right, Rocket Labs. That's a good one. RKLB. So right now I've put down MMM Disney and RKLB. Okay, so let's go over this one. Now, this is a great opportunity to teach some of you who don't know what I do here, what I do here. This is what I do. So, A, we have a definitive candle close, I would say at the floor, which gives us an opportunity if we gap down to take advantage of this box to box scenario, right? We're leaving this box and we're marking out the 50% mark between the two, like this. Target 1, target 2. 113.85 and 1177. You want Diz to pay? Listen, Disney is on the watch list. By the way, if you guys have a second, no, they have not always paid 17 cents per share. It went up to 34. I have 20K. Where do I invest? The first thing that you need to do before you come into the market, if you don't have a strategy, is get one. Find one, which is just going to be the same thing as you. I mean, either that or you just prolong your potential success. If you don't have an edge or a strategy, you will fail. You will, or you'll get lucky, and then the rest, everything that happens afterwards, will be a nightmare. Trust me. The amount of people that I've seen make 50 or 100, I've seen somebody make over $500,000 in a single day, and a year later they told me that was one of the worst things that ever happened to them. A, they didn't withdraw. B, they were aiming for those fucking crazy, like, I can put my whole account into it, and then it just kind of blurred, like they just forgot about a strategy. So but you know, they didn't really even have one at that point. They were still learning. So strategy first. I'm an edge master, if you will. Where do you realistically see SPY? Yeah, Rocket Labs just made the watch list. So, you know, quick story time. Me and Manny knew this guy, and he put in. One day I was trading Tesla, and I went long, and I said, well, I was going long, and he went short, and he was trying to scalp, and he put 250K. Well, I think he split it in half and put it into the average down with it. He lost all of it. And this happened in under an hour. He then proceeded to ask us whether or not he should put in 500K, right? Or just 250K. Not, what should I do now? Where's my strategy? None of that. So this is why I maintain that there are even rich people who do stupid shit. So that's who we sell our contracts to. So should I buy Ethereum or Solana? You should figure that out on your own and come up with a really good conclusion using a strategy rather than asking and relying on somebody on the internet. That's my opinion. Because every single one of you has the potential to be a individual or independent trader and do this on your own, because these motherfuckers aren't smarter than you. Just letting you know. How do I use IV when picking options? I avoid extremely high IV. I mean, I hate to oversimplify that, but I don't pay attention to it that much. But if IV is affecting the price, and I could see that IV being eaten up through sideways action, then yeah, usually when IV gets high, I restrain myself. So, all right. SMCI. Keep dropping those requests, guys. I'm trying to answer. I haven't been here in a minute, so you know it's going to be a lot. So this is actually going really well. I don't know if anybody shorted this one, but I did mention that it had rejected this wall at 43.37 a multitude of times, which brought us down to the 4 hour where you had a multi-tiered event, right? Which means that you just had boxes sitting on boxes. Fancy, but box, punch, floor. You actually use that floor as cost basis because that's just how the cookie crumbles, right? Now, looking left, there is continuation to the downside potentially through this box, and that is a loss of 26.71. And in my opinion, that won't be enough. No, it will. It will. So if you can lose $27, there's a good chance you'll be dropping back down to 21.65, and I would actually just go ahead and say 18. Looking at the weekly time frame on SMCI, there is quite a bit more. I would actually go so far to say that this thing should be down at $11. That's my target. Fuck, you just made the watch list, you little shit. You little shit. All right, SMCI. Yeah, that's a longer expiration contract and a definitive. That's where you fall, right? That's 27 weekly, $27 candle close. I want it all. New here, based on what I've learned, you could absolutely see a $50 in a video looking at the weekly. Yes, absolutely. What is my go-to strategy? Can you break it down? So I only have one strategy, and I look for boxes and empty space, right? Now, that's oversimplifying it. And there's a lot of different ways that this can work out, right? But the strategy says that if you have an area of consolidation, right? That's contraction, which leads to expansion. So I keep that in mind. But if you have a box, right? An area of consolidation, and typically we like it to look like this because that shows me that it's not just a bounce or like, you know, it has volume within it, which therefore informs me or shows me that the price at the 50% mark is at its highest. So when you look at the volume sitting at $27, that would be where the most amount of volume is at. Now this strategy, while it did punch up and then punch down, invalidating the box, what this says is if you punch through a box, right? So here you build a box, you rip out, you go on a journey. When you come back down, if you break or close a candle at the 50% mark of that box, you are guaranteed a new low. And that's where this one comes in, which is the 50% mark of that empty space. But my strategy says that you are guaranteed a new high if you were to, say, build this box, punch or fall down and then recover your floor, move through this 50% mark, and that would guarantee me a new high. Now my job is to find that new high, which in this case, in this made up scenario I'm drawing right here, would be there, right? But the same thing works to the downside. And so I've been able to use this to identify when something closes bearish, like it does here, right? And that's why I'm looking at SMCI moving south, because it's about to make its second attempt on that very same mark at $27 and $26.75. And that more than likely will affect price moving down. Yes, this is being recorded. So can I go over PLTR? Yeah, so this is actually one I was just saying is another one that's going to make the watch list right now. If I can find my pen. Where the fuck did I just put my pen? Okay, so PLTR has to make the watch list. Now, I get it, wartime, all this other shit, and that definitely has its play. But my thoughts here on PLTR is this is a wonderful setup, a great setup that anybody who knows how we trade, this right here could be a 5,000, 2,000% trade, easy. Now, how does that happen, and where do we go from here, right? We're going to draw a lower high because we want to identify where trend is currently at. Now, I discuss it all the time that channels are meant to be broken. They are not the end-all be-all of price action, right? But at the moment, it is giving us a relatively confluential target, which is a fancy way of saying that two lines run into one another, right? So my bottom channel and my cost basis over here to my left is 63.17. That would give me 1, 2, 1, 2. And at that point, I would either be looking for A, how price responds to that level, or B, if this channel collapses, we get rid of that shit, because more than likely this channel will have expanded like so, and we'll be looking for a much further down target. But again, we'll get rid of the channel. I try not to overemphasize the channel because it's not the most important aspect. The most important aspect here about this chart is that You are underneath, and you did not do this without a struggle. 1, 2, 3, 4 days sitting sideways after a nasty retest up here to retest the very same thing that I'm talking about now, right? You pop up, retest the sell level, sellers average down, right? Or average up, and then this is pushed further down. So your next target on PLTR should be a smooth 67.50 intraday and ultimately a 63.50. Now, this play opens up for me, and personally, I'll probably be just taking some further expiration contracts, but I would be aiming for a first big nasty target of $51 right here at that gap that was just barely, I wouldn't even say it was filled. That's also the 50% mark. So typically in any area of empty space, which empty space is just where there's no boxes. There's no boxes. It's a clean rip, only solid green candles. And so that 50% mark would be the first target, and the second target would be here at 45. Should we be trading options with expensive premiums? No. So I have only been able to do what I do by targeting low priced contracts, right? Contracts that are coming out of it. So let me ask a question. Everybody in here, I hope you respond. And some of you guys know this very well, right? Also, this is a great example of my strategy. But what happens to contracts when the price does this, right? What happens to all the strikes sitting up here and all the strikes sitting down here, right? What happens when we go sideways? That's right. Exactly. Chopped up, exhausted, cheaper. They lose value because that's implementing max pain, right? So any contracts within a 25-day expiration will expire or will lose value, right? And we love this. We want this. We don't want to participate in it, but we want this. Now, PLTR, and anybody asking how my strategy works, this is showing you perfectly, right? And because PLTR is moving into all-time highs, that was just a rip. You just let price loose. But you did successfully fall out of your box, recover the floor. Take a look at the floor. Look, right there. Boing, right? And you move straight through that box like butter. You do a little retest here off the bottom. Sketchy, but if you had a good entry, or you're waiting for a candle close, or you took it off the top, all of these would have made for really good entries. So this is where we want to take our trades here or here, because these levels are what are controlling price and not allowing them to move like this, right? How far would I, what is that guy's name is? Tiger's crashed car. That's funny. So right now we can say under $70 PLTR will be going to 63.40, and underneath 63.40 more. How much? Okay, so what was that question? What can I do to have you as my primary mentor? You could join the Discord or tune into the lives. I listen. There's not enough money in the world now, and I say that because I don't think it's necessary. And listen, it would make a great business model to take on mentors. I could charge people $3,000 or something stupid like that. And then I just get $3,000. You will, and I have proven this, you could achieve that by either A, not paying me a dime and going to YouTube. You're going to have to work a little bit harder because the information's a little spread out. Because when I do Q&As, obviously I'm not asked everything, or I'm not asked everything in chronological order and from beginner to advanced. And it's all mixed in there. But either the workshop or my YouTube channel, you don't have to pay that much, if at all. And you could be here. So when we're new, if you're new to trading, we feel vulnerable. And that's when anybody entering a new trade or any sort of craft is going to feel like they need that guidance. And that's where people get taken advantage of. So what I want to prove to people is that you just need a little bit of groundwork, something to set up your understanding from here, which means you need to have a basic understanding of how and what candles represent, what my strategy is trying to imply, right? And whether or not it obviously works or not. But these are things you can do with what you're here now. And I'm here and I'm going to answer your questions. And if you're in the Discord, there is not a single question that I will pass up. I don't pass up on questions. I don't withhold any information. It's all here. So if you want my mentorship, be here. And I know that I don't get to every question, but if you're in the Discord, I won't miss you. Somebody will remind me. But I just say that because I don't want you to pay me and I don't want you to pay anybody else. There are very few people who need one-on-one mentorship from me. And not saying that it's useless. Some people do need it, but I would hope that you would try first before you want to pay me. So, if you are, can you respond to my message, Potter? What's your message? Are these feet pics again, dude? You can go to my website, which is simple. It's in the links in my bio. Everything is there, all my social medias and stuff like that on my website. And you can also see what we do in here. My assistant just posted and updated the website with all of our new shit. So, who messaged me? Turtlicious. Bruce Wayne. You have to DM me again, bro. It's lost in the DMs. All right. Average cost per what? Not per share of what? Do what? Yeah. So my play right now on PLTR, folks, is in simple terms, especially knowing where you opened up last week, is a punch down below 63.85 on the weekly and a leg down, right, to the 50% mark and all the way to 45 here. And I want this. This is the basis of all of the plays that I take. And if I invert it, God damn it, look at that. Look at that shit. Look at it. Fucking look at it. Just look at it, dude. Oh, damn, it's dark in here. Why is my lightsaber not working? Yeah, bitch. Oh, my lightsaber show, dude. This is stupid. Anyway. I said, oh, I got a lightsaber sitting right next to me. All right. It just looks so good. Inverted scale. That's easy, man. That's easy, 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 easy. So A, you're here, and you are here. So 123.34 and 121 should be great targets. Now, because of all of this mess, we're going to get rid of that and focus on this. Now, the top is here, and that's 121. And there's a top right here. So lose 123.45, and you should get an easy leg down to 121. I would try to let runners run, though, all the way to 116. So when we talk about entries, PLTR looks like one of those trades we should get at cost basis, right? Yeah, I could see that being. I mean, basically, cost. Yeah. So Friday's low, which you're going to be underneath. If we gap down, right, we're going to have to be looking at areas like 67. You're going to have to go to everything. So I'm saving it for tomorrow, right? Tomorrow morning is when we get all of this together. Because we don't know exactly where we're going to open up. So, if you guys we're going to try to be up at 8 tomorrow, be here at 8. Okay, live at 8 a.m. We need that extra time. Obviously, we're going to be live in the Discord, but yeah, 8 o'clock. We're going to do this again tomorrow. and we're going to look at the opening prices and we're going to map out our trades from there. So any nervousness you feel in your stomach right now, relax. Everybody relax. We will figure this out using the same thing that we did to make the money we have to the downside. 8 p.m. Eastern time, or 8 a.m. I'm sorry, Eastern time. So 5 a.m. Yeah, listen, if you're in California, anybody on the West Coast, I'm sorry, but we got to do it. So, and I know this, I did it too. I lived on when I started trading, I was in Oregon. Okay. So for right now, we've got MMM, Disney, RKLB, SMCI, and PLTR. Discord link. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I will say the best thing about waking up on the West Coast is you're done at 1. And sometimes you're done and you can go back to sleep. So, all right, we're going to take a few more requests here. Speed running, not compromising, but we're going to take a look here and finish up this. Okay, so that I don't like. And I'm going to tell you why. There is the wicks, I don't care about them, but when you get something that expands like that, obviously it can put a kink in the system. So you have to be right on this lower time frame. And here's what I would do, right? Oh, that's it. That's it. That's the one. That's the channel right there. So, we are bearish underneath the line, the area that we broke up from multiple times. We are also bearish underneath 43.17, which will more than likely lead us to our next price target of 42.50. Now, that unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but this is what you're going to have to go down here into the hourly. 42.44 must be lost, and that's where you'll get 41.22. And I think that should offer you 40.77. Now, the hope here is that this channel adherence that you see here and in here is just representative of a much larger channel that looks like this, which could offer a target, an easy target of $40. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Gazelle. I love a good bacon, egg, and cheese. I was hoping that was on a crypto coin. Hey Potter, do you value Potter boxes on the lower time frame the same as the higher time frame? No. Higher value boxes lie on the higher time frames, but in order to execute those trades on higher time frames, I have to use lower time frames. So they don't go one. You don't get one without the other. They're attached. It's a group thing. So, give me kiss. All right. All right. I'll chart your. No, hold on. I'll do that at last. All right. LMT Lockheed Martin looking like it's more than likely to go hit that floor. Yeah, you should just go to your floor here at 425. Now, I think this could be representing. Yeah, that's nasty, and that's going to be. See, here's the thing. If we leave NATO, if we leave NATO, I think that, and I'm not a fundamentalist at all, but I can tell you this. That's going to affect Lockheed. 395 lies under 425. Nothing less, nothing, well, maybe more. But that would be my first target to the downside, is 395. Now, I'm really curious to see how this looks on the monthly. Yes. 390, write these down if you're shorting LMT, because this is fucking huge, okay? Right there. That individual fucking line is, look at it. And then we're going to drop a box. This is the monthly chart, just showing you. So the monthly would be obviously more indicative of more continuation. And we can even say that by looking here, right? We can see that this month we're already pushing off of that top that we've struggled to get back above. So yeah, you're definitely looking down. Yep. It works like a Russian doll where they all have to match right. That's a good way to put it, actually. I really like that. I like that a lot. Um, DJT. Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to short that just off of spite, but we don't do that. I can't see anything else. So right now you're going to have what's above, which is this mark of 1719 and this floor of 19. And those are going to be areas of concern if you're bearish. But otherwise, I'd be aiming for 1435 and your floor of 1188. LMT lost a huge contract to BA. Yeah, I caught wind of that. But I also know that if NATO fucking, yeah, if that shit fucking plays out. Imagine DT was going up as it melted. ENT. What the fuck is this, Johnny? Johnny. Johnny. Johnny! What am I supposed to do with this, my boy? You are in a cage. If you're into like BDSM financially, this is for you. Right? Just being locked in a cage and being beaten. I know there's somebody out there who likes that shit, and this might be it. I hope that's not what you wanted, but you meant Walmart? All right, Johnny, I thought you were a masochist, dude. Walmart hasn't really gone down, right? It goes down, but it just builds boxes. And so obviously it's a little tougher for me to say just dumpy. And you'll notice that in the way that it actually builds itself. But you are about to run into a pretty significant box. And that's here. And so your next target is 8160, easy, and 8050. Those would be my next two targets to the downside. So when looking at a new stock, how deep should I look for Potter boxes? So you need to be looking for setups that are on the higher time frames. And if you find that, that's when you zoom in and you figure out how the play works. It's just that simple. Apple. My God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Easy peasy. 182.85. I wouldn't be surprised if you're there in the morning. But I'm telling you this. This has been the single biggest, most solid weekly decline that I have seen in a long time. I mean, seriously, this is a major, I mean, that's rivaling it, but that's one of the biggest dumps I have seen. So here's a couple definitive statements that we can make on Apple. Apple is bearish and underneath 196. Simple. Our target now is 182.75, and that could represent a punch down, which will more than likely lead us to our next area here, which would give you a target of 156. Oracle. This one's at a major level now. So obviously gapping down underneath 124 is essential, which will give you a target and a cost basis of 118.45 and on a 24, 114. Excuse me, weekly. So I would be looking at a 114 target underneath the wall. Do I ever short outright? I've only done it once and I'll never do it again. No. Nope. Just options. I buy equity. I do not short it. Considered it, but no. There's just more money in options. I can use less, make more, and there's not the chance of indefinite fucking losses and margin calls. So, have you ever full ported? Of course. Everybody does the same shit when we fucking get into this game. Yes, I have full ported. Now, in the last 6 years, no, I have not full ported. I full ported Peyton's account before, but not mine. Yeah, Payne's account's always full board. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And we already got that. What about MSTR? All right, be up with me in the morning, guys, and we're gonna go ahead and close this thing down here in just a moment. So not really responding in the same way, but I tell you what, because crypto, I mean, I think crypto is just not responding, but this, because it has not broken down yet, could actually be a really decent play. And I only see a target here and here. So my thoughts are you're at the box, you're at cost basis, so below Friday's low of 266.61, you should be looking for a breakdown under 232.19 and a nice breakdown to 194. I actually will put that on the watch list, surprisingly, because it doesn't actually have a fuck ton of empty space, but just because of this, I think this channel collapses. So, yeah. Why are those not invalidated? Where? 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Potter, I need the sleep. I will be up at 5 a.m. West Coast. Have a good one and thanks. I will see you all there. Set my alarm for 7:20 tomorrow. Thanks, bitch. All right. That's Siri's name on my phone. It came in there. It's not my fault. I did do Microsoft. Oh no, I didn't do Microsoft. Damn. Damn. Man, tomorrow could give us a bounce, but I would be looking for a pretty smooth target of around 347.60 and 343, which would then have you set up at this box here. So you need to break down and hold basically 340. 340 is the next target to the downside and indicative of continuation, but I would look for a bounce. Um, my net worth is hurting. I get it, man. There's a ton of fear. Of course there is. Of course there is. Groupon looks juicy. Affirm, actually. Oh, what's up? You look okay? How you doing, man? I saw you in here. Ah, damn, that was probably a fucking extraordinary play. That buy now, pay later model though is fucking. They love that shit. Okay, so this is a little tougher, I have to admit. So let's make some definitive statements. A, you're underneath 38.65, which is where you're bullish. Um, 37.55, and so underneath you was empty space. You hit the first red candle to your left right here. So I would say right now that unfortunately you gonna have to rely on lower time frame setups. I don't like it because it's already dumped, but 32.75 punch down 31.60 and we could get another breakdown for sure. Groupon looks juicy. Yes, it does. Kind of. Hold on. Yeah. So right now, I mean, one could speculate much further, um, and go short and say, well, you just rejected your third time here, and play it down. Fuck. I almost want to write that down. 1380 seems like a good target. Yeah, fuck. Now I'm writing it down. Son of a bitch. Here we go. All right. All right. Groupon. 1380 target. I lagged there for a second. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now. Um oh, I didn't do snow, I'm sorry. Snow. Yeah, so this one's actually following the blueprint rather well. Yep, as per usual, target slapped right there. So you need to decline. Right now, this could set us up for a bounce. We should be gapping down. If you're underneath 125.45, then you'd be aiming for 116. So, um, I would be awaiting some sort of bounce before I try and take it down to that 116. So, all right. I will see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Um, yeah, 8 a.m. Eastern time, right here on TikTok or in the Discord. Um, how do you do stop losses? They usually are the same in my entries. I'll let you guys know that tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you guys are looking to join, I do want to mention this. When we do this last class on the Potter Box, it will be the last class, and it will be the last opportunity for you to buy it forever. I did this once, but I didn't make the new one. So, but you, and I'll do a discount code and all that other shit next week. But that's closing out, and the new one will be put out. So, but anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully we can make some cash. Peace out.